our speaker today and hosting this webinar with us. We're really excited, doing everything we can to support our members. And everyone, remember to reach out to Brynne after this workshop. She teaches more in depth, and especially now more than ever during the current situation, you really need to be working on your LinkedIn profile. So reach out and support Brynne. She's got a lot of really great courses and her prices are pretty fair. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We're actually doing something with Brian Hughes that I'm going to mention at the very end. So
okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Wonderful. Or anything else you want to share about the chamber before we jump in?
That's it. Just here to support the chamber. Manesh and I are here. Call or email us if you need help with anything. And don't forget to promote your business on the chamber's website. It's included in your membership. So remember to do that.
Awesome. That's never been a better time to make sure you're online. That is for sure. So welcome everyone. So we're going to talk how to build business relationships on LinkedIn while working remotely. Some of you I see, this is your first time coming through this course. Quite a few of you, this is a repeat, but we've updated this a little bit and we're going to go through this. So our agenda today is we're going to talk about the new outreach philosophy. We're going to identify our first degree connections that we've been ignoring to re-engage, and we're going to talk about 8 ways to do that. And we're going to touch a little bit on thought leadership. Because honestly, the way that we're really building these relationships, building relationships is great, but we need to lead them to our solution. And so one of the ways we can do that is through content and thought leadership. So we're going to talk about that. So the goal of LinkedIn for social selling really is to convert content and connections to conversations. If we are not having conversations, then we're not growing our business. And we are used to meeting people at Chamber of Commerce meetings, networking opportunities, business card exchanges, right? And we're used to really having these conversations all day long. But in this world where we're working remotely, we've had less and less, and particularly net new conversations with brand new people. And so we're really going to talk today about how to do that. So we want to make sure that you have the tools that it takes to use LinkedIn to start conversations. And social selling is about building relationships, providing real value, and being a resource. The sales will come when the time is right. And that's something that I really hope you can all embrace. If we're having all the right conversations, we're talking with all the right people, we're providing value, when they need us, they will absolutely come, right? So this is not a time to, pitch all the time, to schedule demos, right? This is about really making sure that you're staying in front in a good, productive, resourceful way, so that you are of real value to your prospects and clients right now. So let's talk about finding our existing connections. So we have a ton of people on LinkedIn that we've forgotten about. It's just all of us, right? So we have clients and prospects and referral partners and vendors. These are people who you spend money with, right? People that you buy from, coworkers and community leaders. So, all of these people are people that we should be engaging. Obviously, our existing clients on a consistent basis. Our prospects, even the ones that, that were hot in January and February, but said, don't call me till October. We just don't call me till October really meant I don't want to buy until October. It really didn't mean don't call me. You can still engage and provide value. They just don't want to talk about buying right now. And by the way, you can accelerate that timeline if in fact you are providing the right value. So really good to think about. Referral partners, never been more important to really build relationships with potential referral partners. Your vendors, they can refer business ultimately for sure. But we also want to appreciate them, because without them, our business isn't going to move forward. Our coworkers, 2 things. Number one, we're used to seeing them potentially every single day. Maybe we're having Zoom group meetings, team meetings, but we want to make sure we're deepening those relationships and those commitments and those loyalties. Really important, and we'll talk about ways to do that. And community leaders, I'm here today because of Jude, who is a community leader in Lower Bucks County. And so, when all of this happened, I'm like, I need my chamber, right? So how do we do this? What can we do now? How can you be of service? How can you help? And how can you spread your name as an ambassador? Lots of things that you can do. And I would say in this particular case, you can reach out to your community leaders and say, what do you need right now? What value can I bring to you and your members? Great conversation starters, right? So when we started doing this, the first thing we thought about is how do we find our contacts, right? Like some of us have thousands of contacts. So how do we mine those? How do we identify who it is that we want to talk to? And we decided exporting your connections is a really great way to start. When you export your connections, you are going to get a spreadsheet. I can actually show you of here, first name, last name. There'll be a column for email, but most emails won't be there. Company name, position, and the date you connected. We also are encouraging you to create columns of the activities we're going to talk about today, or simply columns of past client, prospect, referral partner, so that we can start to get an idea of who is in our existing network. You're going to notice a whole lot of stuff, right? You're going to notice, boy, I'm not connected to a lot of my clients, or I'm only connected to one or two of my buyers inside of a client. And there's so many more people that I've engaged with that I'm not on LinkedIn. So you're going to get a ton of aha moments by doing this, but you definitely want to export your connections. I'm not going to go through all the steps here. You can take a screenshot if you want from this, but these are the steps in order to export your connections into Excel. So I'll give you a second to take a screenshot. I'll actually PDF this, and I can send this to Jude, or you can reach out to me and I can send you the PDF as well for the steps. The next thing is to search your connections. This is how we start to identify exactly who we know that we want to meet. This I will go live for, because I want you to see how easy this is, right? So if you go into search your connections and people, I'm able actually to go to my all filters, and I can search my first degree connections. In the free LinkedIn, I can really only do the greater Philadelphia area. Greater cities is all that's available. If you go to something that's called Sales Navigator, you can go by zip code and a whole bunch of other searches. But in this case, I'm going to say greater Philadelphia area. And let's say I want CPAs. So I go ahead and search, and now I get the 66 CPAs in Philadelphia that I am already connected to. So although we can find those in our spreadsheet, this is another way to identify our existing connections. And there's lots of ways we can engage with them, but because they're your first degree connections, you can send direct messages to them. And we'll talk about ideas and things to do in order to do that. The next thing is, how do we acknowledge people publicly for the really great things that they've done? These are great for your vendors and your coworkers, but you can do this for clients that have been really easy to work with, or your community leaders. In fact, let's do our community leader now. So if I go to Jude and I want to thank her publicly, I can give her a kudos. Literally, it's a public postcard that says she's done such a great job. So let's see, what has she done? Making an impact. So let's say, you have done such a great job engaging the lower, let's see, now we can mention Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce members. Thanks for all you do. And now I can put a couple of hashtags. I can add some other things if I want to, or I can just simply post. Jude will now get a little notification that I have sent her kudos. And so it makes someone feel good. It starts to deepen relationships. People really do appreciate it. Actually, there's another area where you can do kudos as well. From your home page, they've added this. If you hit start a post, and I think it's celebrate an occasion, yep, and then give a kudos. And if I did it from here, I'm not going to do two, but I'll show you, I do it from here, and I hit next, I could go ahead and do this here again. And so those are just two areas that you can give those kudos from. The next one is endorse. And while I don't expect that you're going to give a kudos and endorse the same person at that time, you can do that because it might be a little stalkerish, I think, if you're doing too much. But endorsing is really fun because if we go down to, so I've endorsed Jude for event planning. I know that because there's a check mark. But if let's say I'm going to do event management, she's highly skilled. I've seen her do those things, and I've now endorsed her for that. Why I love this is Jude is going to get a notification that I've endorsed her and a pre-populated message to thank me. It's not that I want to thank you, but I want a conversation. And by doing that, it's going to prompt her to reach out, and I can also now respond with like, what are you up to? What has it been like? Any way I can help you? It's just a great way to start that conversation. So if you've exported your connections, you can have a column that says kudos and put a little check mark next to everyone you want to give a kudos to, right? Engage on their content. So people post content to be engaged with. And so if we want to start building stronger relationships, let's do what matters to them, right? So if I go, we're going to go back to, we're still in Jude, we're going to go to her activity. On her profile, you'll see if you scroll down, there's a section called activity. I can see all of her activity, which one of them is the activity I just mentioned her in, and she thanked me, so it's here. And then there's a post, right? So if I go to post, this is what she's actually posting, right? And so this was 10 hours ago, so it's brand new. She's mentioned a whole bunch of people. She's got some reactions and comments already. But if I now go and I hit, let's say, I'm going to celebrate them. And you guys, you are amazing. And the community is lucky to have you. I've now engaged in her content. And, this isn't bad. She's got some engagement. But when you're one of 4, you stand out. And she's like, wow, I really, really appreciate that. And the like or the reaction is important. But the comment is what starts to build relationships. People really appreciate it, right? And so this is such a great way. And then, by the way, I did this. Everyone that was mentioned in here, so this is a little selfish on the other side, will see my name. Because everyone will say, Brynne Tillman commented, and Bill Pelosi will see it, Manesh will see it, Joanne Stock's going to see that, right? All of these people, my name is going to show up. So not only am I supporting the chamber and thanking Jude for how great they are, but I'm also getting some visibility at the same time, right? And so other people may engage as well. Next is LinkedIn recommendations, and this is a little bit more serious. Like this is like a deeper dive into like recommendations is a little more work. Let's put it that way. Why? Because and it has to be so deeply authentic. This is typically a coworker, a vendor. You could certainly do it for a community leader, but a recommendation is written. It is like, a paragraph or 2 or 3 about the value that person brought. This is, if the chamber has done a great job for you, sending one for Jude or Manesh would be amazing, right? if a vendor helped you move from your physical office to your home office, that would be a great person that, you know, really helped you seamlessly move your business. Great person to send a recommendation to. You know, if you have even someone, anyone that's brought some kind of value. So very excited about that, because they appreciate it. And if you really want to deepen relationships, so maybe when you go through your Excel spreadsheet, or maybe you'll know the top people in your mind, maybe there's a person a month. Maybe that's a commitment. Someone once a month that has brought some great value to you, you can write a recommendation for. And that actually shows up on your profile too. So when you go to recommendations on LinkedIn, and I'll go to that now, and you scroll down to your recommendations, there's a few things that you can look at. Oh, they're here somewhere. Did I pass them? Yep. So we have the received recommendations and the given recommendations. The one negative, I don't know if it's negative, but they show recommendations in order in which they've been given. So when my top recommendations are pushed down, I'm a little bit sadder, right? Because I have someone that went through my course and closed a $1.5 million deal doing the warm introductions that we taught her how to do. I want that at the top. We can't have our recommendations at the top, but they are here and they're visible for other people. But also our given recommendations are here. So these are the people that I've actually given a recommendation to over time. So although it's a little imbalanced, so I probably have to start focusing on giving more. And I have 4 people right now I can see that are requesting a recommendation. So they sent me saying, can you recommend me? And some of them are a little strange because I don't know who they are, but I'll go through those. But you can ask for a recommendation as well. But I highly recommend, if you're going to ask for recommendation, that you have a conversation first. Don't just send it blindly. Because you know, you want to make sure you've had that conversation first, but you can certainly recommend someone that has done something for you. Networking meetings. These are my favorite. Between networking meetings and client referrals, this is how I've grown my whole entire business. So typically when you have a networking meeting, you know, you meet someone at a chamber event, you really like them, there's some synergies. And if you notice, I have networking meeting with also a Zoom meeting going on too, because that networking doesn't have to be one-on-one anymore. In many cases, it's not. So, we, you know, normally in the networking meeting, we'll sit and talk about our kids and our, you know, what's going on in the business, and we do some bonding. And at the end of that meeting, we'll say, hey, who do you know that can use my products or services? And the other person typically goes, I don't know. Well, what if we change this up? And before the networking meeting, I say, you know, before we meet, whether it's Zoom or in person, feel free to go through my LinkedIn connections, pull out 20, 30 names of people that I might know that you might want to meet. We can review the names when we're together and whittle it down to 3 or 4 introductions that I can make on your behalf. And they'll say, wow, that's great. You do the same. How do we do that? We're going to start, and I have permission to go to Sally Jo. And so before I meet with Sally Jo, I want to find out what CPAs does she know. So I go to Sally Jo's connections. There's a couple ways to do this, but I can click on her 500. You'll see her name is now here. I can go to all filters. I don't care about the people she knows that I already know. I only want to see the people that she knows that I don't know yet. And we'll stick, let's say CPAs. I don't even know how. I should probably have tested this. She may not know CPAs. Okay, we're going to go to CEOs because she will know CEOs. We'll do CEO, owner, founder, partner. How many does she know? So she knows 32. So she has 32 people in her network that I might want to meet. And I'm going to go through this list with her, and she'll say, I don't remember William. Angela, she's great. Oh, Barron, you're going to like him. Brian, I haven't talked to him in a while. We can try that, but I don't know if he'll remember me, right? We go through this list, and at the end of our meeting, we can exchange introductions for one another. So maybe 32 becomes 3, 4, 5 people, and vice versa. So now when we are in that networking meeting, instead of, boy, I can't think of anyone to introduce you to, we now leave with a list of people that we can make introductions. So I just kind of, make introductions for each other. This is different. This is my CPA and my payroll people. So I went back, let's go back and do that search. We're gonna get out of the Sally Joe search, and we're gonna go back and do people, all filters. And I looked at my, Philadelphia, CPA, and I have my list. I think it was 66, right? And what did I do wrong? I did something wrong this time. First degree, Philadelphia, CPA was definitely 66 before, but we'll keep moving on that one. Maybe I didn't do Philadelphia. Let me see. So something's not working, and I have to go back. It might have something in its memory from my search. We have to clear out the cookies. But I could go in and now I say, well, CPAs want to know lawyers, right? So I'll say lawyer or attorney, and I'll look at who do I know. And I have a lot of those. I have to go back and see what I did wrong with the CPA. But I make my list and I say, hey, Greg, I hope you're well. I'm not sure if you're taking this time for networking with other folks, but I've got lots of CPAs that are looking to network. Are you interested in a conversation? Then I go to my CPAs. I have an attorney who's looking to network with some CPAs, and now I can make introductions for other people in my network proactively. Now, that building relationships will, your job right now is connecting other people together, and they really appreciate it. Send them content. So and we'll talk a little bit about this, but there's lots of different kinds of content. There's original content, there's curation of content. We're going to talk a little bit about this. But when you send them content, there's also, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. I may be jumping ahead, but this is a great way to engage. Well, yeah, we'll talk about what kind of content in a little while. But when you just, hey, I came across this article, thought you might find it interesting. If you sell to a lot of people in Lower Bucks County and there's, an online event, that's content, right? You can say, hey, there's an upcoming networking event that's open to people beyond members, make sure it is. And I thought this, as a business owner, you might find this helpful, right? That's a great reason to reach out. You're providing incredible value for everyone, right? You're bringing new people into the chamber, and you're providing great value to that business owner. And it's not about sales, right? It's just about being a resource. Lots of things that you can do around that. Holding open office hours. Now you might say, what does this have to do with LinkedIn? Because it's a column. This is something that we're doing. We're actually now, we have a subscription service now where we hold open office hours for $29 a month. But we started doing this absolutely as a gift during quarantine. And we would have hundreds of people over the time that would pop in for a question or two. And it was really productive, and it was really helpful when people needed it most. So this is it's a great opportunity to bring prospects in to experience you, kind of test drive what your coaching is like, right? And they can come in and ask questions. Now, not every business this will work for, but if you have any kind of service related business, it's pretty good. So consider doing that. And then you look at the column, everyone in your LinkedIn connections, who would get value from this, right? Who would be appropriate to bring in? And it's a great way to really start to build relationships with people. Virtual coffee for prospects and centers of influence. So we talked a little bit about those networking meetings, but one of the things that we found fun, especially, now when everyone, now we're opening up a little bit, but we're still not 100% meeting with people, you can send through email a $5 Starbucks card. It's really fun. You could just say, hey, you know, looking forward to our virtual coffee meeting. Coffee's on me. Fun way to engage. People love it. They don't forget it. It's really pretty cool. And if you have a local coffee shop and they can do a virtual gift card, that's even better. We can do that with lunch. So think about who in the chamber, what restaurants in the chamber are delivering. And you don't have to do this with everyone, but this is a great thing to do with your existing clients because there's some investment in this, right? But send them a menu from one of the chamber member restaurants that delivers and say, hey, I would love to take you to a virtual lunch. We can hop on a Zoom. Tell me what you want and I'll have it delivered. You're supporting a local business. That client will never forget that you did that. And you get, you know, a good half hour to have lunch together and to chat. And that will strengthen all relationships. This is my favorite, hands down. This is sending personal messages, video messages through the app. So let me jump in. Hopefully this will show up in a moment. Yes, there it is. And so if I went in and I wanted to send, hold on, a message to Jude, a video message, which you may see there's one in here from a couple months ago. Yep, look, we've done this before, can you tell? And it's just a progression of how long my hair has gotten. That's all I see. Just kidding. So I'm going to click through and I'm going to do video message. I'm going to do a little selfie button and I'm going to say, hey, Jude, I'm so excited to be doing this webinar again with you. I look forward to seeing you in person soon. Okay, and I can send that. Now I can also send additional content. So she's going to get that in a minute. I'm also going to send additional content to her, potentially, right? So maybe, hey, Jude, found an article about 5 things Chamber of Commerce are doing to engage their members, thought you'd find it interesting. I would say that in a video. I'm going to post it in the link below, and then I could go ahead and post it. If you want to build relationships, this is a great way to do it. Really powerful. Oops. All right, so let's talk about this for a moment. Content. This is a question that so many people ask. Why is content important to start conversations? 74% of buyers choose the sales rep that was first to add value and insights. I don't love the word sales rep, but this is the study and this is what we got. But if 3/4 of the people are choosing to buy from someone that was early on adding value and insights, how do we do that? We do that through content. So it's important that we're doing this. So I wanted to put this into today's webinar. What it takes to get a conversation. Ultimately, we need to earn the right. Now, with our existing connections, we may already have some relationships. We have some credibility, and it's a lot easier. Just saying, hi, how are you, may even be earning you the right. A lot of chamber members that you're used to, you know, it's not hard. But if it's a brand new person that you're trying to engage, I am shocked. This is the first time I'm saying this, but I am shocked at how many people are reaching out to me to have a conversation, and I don't know why. And when I ask them, you know, they're like, you know, I'd love to hop on a call with you. What would you like to chat about? I want to learn more about you and your business. And there's a point where, like, I don't have time to talk about me and my business. They have to, before they have the right to get a call, they have to win my interest, right? And I appreciate that they're working hard to grow their business, but they have to work harder to earn the right for me to talk with them. And I am absolutely, and it's frustrating because there's so many of them, dozens a month, coming into my inbox that they want a conversation, but they haven't earned the right. So content and value is what starts to earn you the right to do that. Some of you that have been through my programs before know that this is the cornerstone of everything we do. We have to master the ask-offer ratio. This is vital to your success in business, let alone just social. What is the ask-offer ratio? I'm asking you for your time. 3 minutes to read a piece of content. 30 seconds to watch my video. I'm asking you to invest the time. At the end of that investment of time, you're going to have one of 3 reactions. That was a waste of my time. It was a bait and switch. We get that with a lot of blogs. The title is better than the content, right? And so I get there and I haven't learned anything new. That's bad. The next is pretty neutral. Oh, that was nice. I'm not compelled to do anything, but it didn't hurt. And the third, which is where we want to be in that ask-offer ratio, is that they're compelled to do something. Something as simple as respond to the message, like the message, put a comment in something, but there is a compelling reason to do something. And when we get that, when we master that ask-offer ratio, we are moving closer and closer to more conversations. And the bottom line is you have to be a resource. It's not about pitching. It's not about telling them how good you are. It's not about telling them how you can help them. It's about helping them. So take a look at everything you're asking, everything you're putting out there, and making sure is when they take the time to consume whatever it is that you're doing, even just a little message in their inbox, that they're better for having read it, seen it, watched it, listened to it, okay? We need to lead to your solution, not with your solution. When you are leading with your solution, it's a pitch. You're screaming out there about all the ways you've been able to help companies like them do X, Y, and Z. They hate it. You hate it. Think about it when you get those messages. Are you compelled to take their call or to take action? Or are you like, oh God, another pitch? Don't be that person, right? We want to lead them. We want to map it out. We want to make sure that we are helping them along their buyer's journey, and content and resources are the way to do that. Attract, teach, and engage creates know, like, and trust. We all know the know, like, and trust. It's a brilliant way to think about building relationships. But there's a precursor to this. We can't get someone to know us particularly. Now, in the real world, we meet them at a chamber event. They do get to know us. But online, we've got to attract them to us. We've got to teach them something new and get them to engage and engage back, right? That's the comment. That's the like. That's even a hand raise, a connection request that turns into, hey, we should chat about this, right? We need to attract, teach, and engage before they know, like, and trust us. It's really important. So I should have done that first. Attract, teach, and engage. That's how we get our conversations. 3 ways to get content that starts conversations, and we're just about at the end here, is curate content. Where do we get content? There are so many places to get content. You can find influencers in your industry. You can find it by hashtags inside of LinkedIn. You can get content from Google alerts on topics, from Googling topics and blog posts, top human resource blog posts, right? If you're selling human resources, to take a look at SHRM blog posts, right? Figure out where is the content coming from the industry and curate and share with your own thought leadership. Creating content. Content does not have to be blog posts. This is mini videos. It could be quotes. It could be kind of aha moments. There's lots of ways to create brand new content. And this is such a great one. Share their own content with them. I love this. So, if you're trying to get into a company, Google press releases, see what's happening in the news, figure out what's going on inside their company. Did they volunteer? Were they part of the chamber group that volunteered? Find out that one post, there's tons of people that were mentioned. Find that article and share it back with them and say, hey, Jane, just found this article. I think it's amazing how you've been able to give back to the community. And then you paste their own article there. So you're not just mentioning them, but you're getting it into their inbox. They're like, oh, that was really personal. And then sometimes in that case, they probably saw it because they were mentioned, but in a lot of cases, they don't even see their own press. So you can send a little message that says, hey, Jane, just came across this article in the local, a local community website about what you and your company have done from volunteering. I just think it's really impressive. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see this, but lots of CEOs miss their own press, so I thought I'd get it in front of you. They're like, wow, that was really thoughtful, right? That's how we start conversations and start to build relationships. So I'm going to ask you guys, have I earned the right just to share one quick little thing that we're doing? If you think that you've gotten value from today, you say, yes, you've earned the right to just give me, I'm going to 30 seconds on telling you what could be next. Let me know, just put a little why, if I've earned the right today, that we've given you enough value that I can share with you something that's coming up. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, want more? I'll start with, we do lots of workshops at Lower Bucks Chamber. We've loved the partnership. It has been phenomenal. We had one scheduled in April, unfortunately, with the pandemic. That was, I wouldn't say, we thought it was going to be postponed. It's now moved online. So it's through Brian Hughes. So if you are interested, if you registered for the April, you will get into this. It's already done. You're in there. If you are looking, so it's a 4-week Mastering LinkedIn for Social Selling. We're going to review, more than review, deep dive into how to build out a value-centric profile, how to really build these relationships, these networking relationships, how to prospect through warm market, and how to create original content. And oh, thanks, Bill. I'm so glad you've enjoyed this. So if you are interested, you can go to brianhughes.biz, B-I-Z, to register. And I appreciate you guys giving me the time. I can open this up for Q&A, Jude, if we want to do that. If you guys want to stick any questions in Q&A, I can.
Well, that'd be great to do Q&A, Brynne.
Yeah, I would love to. So, Jude, do you have any questions? We can start with you.
I think, whoops, sorry, good echo there. I really love the kudos and the recommendations. They can pretty much, I mean, it's a lot to absorb, and I go back and read the notes, and you were going to send us your screenshots and recordings, correct?
Yep. It'll take about a couple of hours for Zoom to do what it does, and then I'll get you that, and I'll PDF this deck so you have that.
Okay, it looks like Kathy has her hand raised.
Awesome. All right, let me see if I can. Kathy, go ahead, you can talk. Hi, Kathy. Oh, you can unmute yourself.
I didn't have a question.
Oh, just a hand raised?
No, it was a thumbs up.
Oh, I love the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Well, happy to hear your voice anyway.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, I can hang around a little bit if you have questions. Not a lot of questions coming in. Normally we get tons. But oh, here's a Q&A. Excellent. Is LinkedIn the best way to connect via social media? How about Facebook business page? I love that question. And here's the thing. You have to take a little inventory in where are your buyers hanging out. If you are selling to people that are hanging out in Facebook business pages, then that's where you need to be. I sell to entrepreneurs, small business owners, and sales teams. They're mostly, I mean, some entrepreneurs are on Facebook pages, but mostly my buyers are on LinkedIn, so that's where I am. So really, there is no right, I mean, restaurants do phenomenally well with Facebook and Instagram, right? Phenomenally well. Visual businesses do great with Instagram. So it really just depends on where your buyers are hanging out. I hope that answers that question. I hate when depends is the answer, but it depends. Well, guys, thanks so much for having me today. I had a whole lot of fun. And I look forward, hopefully, to see you guys in the 4-week class. If not, I am sure we'll be doing more with the chamber down the line, if Jude will have me back. Jude, do you want to close this out with anything?
I think we're good. Thank you everyone for being on today, and looking forward to helping everybody stay connected.
Thanks, guys.